So previously you talked about getting your vaccine or your booster before Halloween. We're now well past that. Is the administration behind on this? You're doing a 6-week sprint before the end of the year, but you were saying to get fully protected for the holidays, this already had to happen before. Why wasn't there this sprint, this outreach before, when it really would have had a bigger effect?
Well, no, so two things. First of all, we have been talking about this, I would say, pretty consistently for a couple of months now. And I was out here talking about people getting it before. Look, it's certainly not too late. If you think about the holidays that are coming, it takes a couple of weeks to get maximal benefits from your booster. You start getting it relatively quickly. People go out and get vaccinated this week. They will have a lot of protection during December, January, February onwards, the time that we socialize the most. So we have been doing a lot to keep vaccines and vaccinations happening. What we're doing now is redoubling that effort and making it very clear that people need to go out and get vaccinated.
Signal that the country's behind the 8 ball on getting boosted, though.
No, I think we've had slow, steady progress. But the bottom line is strong and steady progress. But the bottom line is we need more Americans vaccinated, and the weather's starting to get colder outside, as you can tell. And we know that this virus, in the last 2 years, each of the last 2 years, we've seen substantial increases late December into January. And so going out and getting vaccinated right now is a great way to protect yourself if that pattern holds.
The federal government purchased 171 million doses of this updated vaccine, and so far you've got 35 million into arms. That seems like a far cry from what the government has paid for. Is your expectation that you'll ever hit that 171?
Let's talk about the purchase we made. So first of all, our goal was to make sure we had enough vaccines for everybody. In rural areas, for instance, you end up having to deal with the fact that you might have a vial of 5 doses and are only able to give out 3. So that's always something that we factor in, right? Second is over time, there will be updates. FDA may, and again, I don't want to get ahead of FDA, at some point make a decision that the bivalent vaccine is what you want to use as a primary series. When FDA makes that decision, if they make that decision, we want to make sure we have plenty of vaccines for that. So we have made these purchases thinking across all of the ways in which Americans will need vaccines, and have made decisions to make sure there are plenty of vaccines available for Americans wherever they are, in rural areas, in urban areas. And I think that was a really good decision to make sure that there's plenty of access, no matter how our vaccine usage shifts.
I don't know what the numbers are for the flu, but are you expecting that year after year, some number of Americans will get their updated vaccine? And what number are you hoping to achieve?
Yeah, so we don't have a target. At this moment, I do believe that given where we are with COVID and the evolution of this virus, I do expect that for majority of Americans, they will need an annual COVID vaccine to have maximal protection. If you think about it, a majority of Americans were eligible for a booster last fall. If they got it last fall, they're eligible again this fall. There's been a lot of, it's hard to make specific predictions about this virus, but all the science and all the evidence we have suggests that we're probably going to need to update our vaccine again next year, and have Americans get vaccinated again next year. Right now, our focus is let's get Americans protected this fall and winter with the updated COVID vaccines we have.